Guys, welcome back to another video. So in my last video I shared with you guys how to draft a female pants trouser. So this here is the pattern paper. So this video we are going to be sewing this together. So if you haven't watched that video that we drafted this, I will advise you go to that video before coming to this one. So here is the material I'm going to be using, okay, and I had just 3 yards here. So if you are on a bigger size, I will advise you use 3.5 or 4 yards. That is if you are very big. So right now, while we were drafting this, we didn't cut out our pocket area, so we're going to be doing that now. So I'll just keep this aside and then work on the front pattern for now. So to do that, I'll just keep everything aside and then cut out this part here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out, this pocket area. Please just take note of where I'm cutting out. So guys, after cutting this out, I'm going to be using this paper here to cut out our pocket. Okay, so you can see the paper I'm using. So I'm going to be using this to cut out the pocket. Let me just cut off this other part here that's not needed. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place that paper on under this other part here. Okay, but before then, the paper I had was too small, so I just had to just change it and then use this one here. It was too small, so I just had to use this. So I'm going to lift this up and place it this way. So I'll just make sure I align this. So you can go ahead and pin this down so that when you are cutting it's just going to be in place. So I'll just use my pins and hold this down. Right now, I'll just cut this out just like what I'm doing here. Once you're done cutting this out, go ahead and remove it. So I'll just remove these pins and then remove it. So this is it. So when you're done, the next thing to do is you're going to fold it, but I'm just going to cut off this excess here. It's not needed. So by the time you are done, just go ahead and then fold it this way like this. Can you see? Just fold it this way. Make sure that when you're folding this, it has to be 7 inches. So the one I folded here is even more than 7 inches. So I'm going to take note of this when I measure this. Okay, so on the waist area there, you are going to take your measurements on the waist area. So you place your tape this way, and I had 10 inches here. Can you see? So you come over to this paper, or before then you're going to come over and then fold in this part. Just fold in this part this way. Can you see what I'm doing? Fold in this part just like this. And then when you're through, still take the measurement on this area. You realize that you will have like 2 inches shorter. So I had 8 inches. Remember when we took this measurement earlier, before we folded this in, it was 10 inches. So right now it's 8 inches. Now the next thing to do is we are still going to go ahead and place that pattern paper. Place it inside again. So just look at what I'm doing with my hands. So I'm going to measure what I have from this point, but let me just go ahead and cut off this part so that everything is looking straight. So right now I'll just take the measurements from the top area here to 10 inches. 10 inches is going to be the length of my pocket. Can you see? So 10 inches, and then the width for this has to be 7 inches. Like I told you, when you are cutting this, the width should be 7 inches. So mine was more than 7 inches, and I'm just using my chalk to just chalk that down. And I'll come down here and also mark 10 inches here, and then I'll use my scissors and then just cut out the excess part I have here. So just go ahead and cut this out if you have more than 10 inches. Okay, and for this other part that is more than 7 inches, I'm going to take note of that. But before then, let's go ahead and place this inside this way. So I'll just turn it over like this, just to have like a curve towards this other area. So before then, I'm going to use my scissors and then just trace out these areas here like this. Just trace it out and then place this back just like this. Can you see what I'm doing? Just place it back like that, and then you're going to replace your waist measurement. So it's 10 inches. I'm going to mark 10 inches here. Remember that when you fold in the zipper fly, the length is just going to reduce. So it was 10 inches before we folded the zipper fly, and now after folding it in, I had 8 inches. So I need to replace that 10 inches on this other paper here, so that by the time we are joining this to the back pieces, it's not going to be too short. I just hope you understand. So right now I will just curve my paper this way to that area there. Can you see? Just curve it this way. It's something very simple. Just curve it to that 10 inches point like this. So guys, after then I will remove this paper, and this is what I have. Can you see? So guys, I also went ahead to just cut this out on my fabric this way. So I went ahead to cut out every other thing on the fabric. So this is it. I'll just show you guys what you need to do next. So right here, I remember when we were drafting this, I told you guys that I was going to be adding some extra inches to the length of this my trouser. The length on the pattern paper was about 38 inches and my full length was 39, and I still needed to add like extra 2 inches to it for the folding. So altogether I needed to add 3 inches to this pattern here for the front part. Can you see? So I had 3 inches here, and for the back, where we were drafting this, if you watch closely on that video, you see that the back, the front pieces was very long. It was longer than the back. So for the back I had to replace the same inches to it, so that by the time we are done sewing this, it's not going to be shorter. The length is just going to be equal. I just hope you understand. So right now I also went ahead to cut out the pocket areas, and I went ahead to curve these areas here, just a little curve to give it like a nice shape, and I had 2 pieces for the 2 side pockets. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep this aside and let's work on the front pieces. So for this front area here, I'm going to remove all the pins I have here. Just go ahead and remove these pins, and then I'm going to fold this in this way. Please take note of this part here. You're going to fold it in, and then you're going to use your chalk to just chalk out that zipper fly area, just like a curve to meet the crotch line, just like what I'm doing here. Just give it a curve this way like this, just like what I'm doing here. Please just look at my hands, just in case you don't understand what I'm saying. Just look at what I'm doing with my hands. Okay, so when you are done, this is what you should have, just a curve to this other side here. So right now that we are done, the next thing to do is I'm going to remove all the pins I have on this pattern paper, and then just remove it, so that I'll show you guys what to do next. So guys, the next thing to do is you're going to take like this is where I'm going to be fixing my zipper. So just in case you don't understand why we have these areas here, is for our zipper. Can you see? So from this point here, I'm going to come down to about 7 inches. I'm going to come down to 7 inches point. I'll mark it here, and then I'll go over to my machine and stitch from this part to my crotch line. Stitch from this part here to your crotch line. So once I'm done, I'll show you what I have. So guys, I'm done stitching this down. I'm just going to lift this up and show you. So these are the areas that I went ahead to stitch down. Just this area here, just this part. Can you see? So right now I'm going to turn this over to the right side, but before then, let me notch these areas here so that I can be able to, turn this to the right side properly. So this is what I have, just a little notch. Okay, don't cut it through the stitches you made. So this here is the right part here, so I'll just go ahead and align this. Please look carefully how I'm doing this. This is like very trickish, this area here, so you need to pay attention to this part. So your zipper fly this way, this part here, the left part, the left side has to cover the right areas this way, just like what I'm doing here. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you're placing the left on top of the right like this. It has to be the left. Place it this way like this. Can you see? So right now I'll just bring my zip and then show you how we're going to fix this to our zipper fly this way. Can you see? Whatever you're doing, guys, please make sure that the left area is on top of the right. Okay, so for the zip, just go ahead and then place it this way. So I was supposed to do a video like on this very how to stitch this specially, but since this is already inside of the tutorial we are making, please just take note of this because I might not want to do a video on this again. So you need to place this like this on this very part. Make sure that you are looking at what I'm doing. Can you see how I'm placing my zip? Can you see? Please make sure that you are placing yours this way. So I'll just go ahead and zoom this very well so that you can see this clearly. So guys, this is it. Can you see how I'm placing this zip? Please make sure you are taking note of the way I'm placing this zip. Like, it's very important. If not, you are going to loosen this up and then start working on it again. So I'll make sure to pin this down till you get to this other point here. Can you see what I'm doing? So pin this down to this point, just like this. Just pay attention to this. By the time you are done pinning that part, then you are going to start pinning this other side here. So to do that, I'm just going to turn this over to this part here. Make sure that this other part has to be right inside the middle, like the middle area here. Please just look at what I'm doing. Like, this part is very tricky. Just pay attention to this part. Just place this in the middle. Okay, it has to be in the middle. So look at what I'm doing. I'll just place it this way and then pin this down as well. Before you go over to your sewing machine, please pin this down. So I'll just place it this way like this. Pin this down. Can you see what I'm doing? I'll pin this down till it gets to the end. I'll just turn this over to the right side and then zip this up so that you see how it's going to look by the time you are done stitching this. So I'll just zip it up this way. Can you see? So by the time you are done, you'll notice that this other side, like, the zip is just inside. Everything is just looking very nice. Can you see? The zip is just inside. So this is why you had to do it this way, so that the zip is not going to be showing actually. So everything is just going to be looking very nice and beautiful. Okay, so I'll go over to my sewing machine and then stitch down this part here down, and also stitch down this part. So I'm done stitching this down, guys, and this is how it looks. Everything looking very beautiful. Can you see that? So I'll just open up this zip. So this is it, and then zip it up again. See how beautiful this came out. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now is to start working on our darts. So to do that, but before then, let's go ahead and then stitch down this part. So I'm going to come out by 1.5 inch. Come out on this part by 1.5 inch. Make sure you are placing your tape from where this zipper area started. So that's where you need to place your tape. I'll just mark 1.5 inch here, and then I will just connect it to meet this area here. Just curve it this way. Just look at what I'm doing. So you're going to curve it this way, just like what I'm doing, and then you go over to your sewing machine and follow the lines you made. Just a little, just follow that line, stitch it down like this. Can you see? You're just going to stitch it this way here. So I'll go over to my sewing machine, stitch it down and show you. I'm done stitching this down, guys. I went ahead to stitch it just like this so that everything will just relax perfectly, and I'm done with this. So let's go ahead and fix and start stitching out that. So to do that, I'm going to place my pattern paper, making sure that the pocket area aligns, and then I'm going to notch that area there. So I'll first use my chalk to just chalk that area down. Make sure the pocket aligns with the pattern paper. Just chalk it down, and once I'm done, I'll bring it to this other side making sure that the pocket aligns. I'm still going to mark here. So right now the next thing to do is I'm going to take the length of my dart on my pattern paper. So I had about 2.5 inch. So I'm going to come down to this part that I marked, but before then let's go ahead and notch it, so that when we turn this over to the back side, you'll know exactly where your dart is supposed to be. So I'll notch this area and then turn this over to the back areas. So right now I'm going to come down by that 2.5 inch for my dart. So I'm going to mark 2.5 inch here and then connect a straight line to that point that I notch. So when I go to my sewing machine, I'll fold it this way and then stitch down my dart. On this other side, I'm going to do the same thing, mark 2.5. I'll go over to my machine, fold it this way and stitch down my dart. So by the time I'm done, I'll show you what I have. I'm done stitching this down now, and this is how it looks. These are the areas that I stitched down for my dart. So right now let's go ahead and work on the pockets area. So place one of the pockets right side facing each other, just like what I'm doing here. Go ahead and then pin this down. Can you see? Place one of it. Like I said, you're going to be cutting two. So one is going to be for this side and one is going to be for the other side. So place it right side facing each other. You're going to go over to your sewing machine and stitch it down with 1/2 inch. So I'm going to repeat same thing for this other side. So guys, I'm done stitching this part down. I'll just open this up so that you see. So this is it here. I'm just going to make sure that I align this and then iron it out. Okay, so I'll just place it up this way. Make sure you iron this part so that it's looking flat, and I'll use my iron to just press it down. Okay, just make sure you iron this out, just like what I'm doing here. So guys, when you are done, just go ahead and remove everything. Now for the pockets area, you can decide to just stop stitch on it, on this area like this. You can decide to stop stitch on it, but I feel like since I have ironed this, it was already looking very nice, so there was no need for me to stop stitch on it. Do you understand? So right now let's go ahead and close up these other pocket areas. For this pocket here, I went ahead to just work on this behind the camera, so I'm going to be showing you what I did on the other side. So please take note of this. So this is the pocket here. I'll just turn it over to the wrong side. This is the pocket here. Can you see? So one thing you need to do is you need to fold it. So just take note of what I'm doing with my hands, because it's going to explain better to you. So this here, I've gone ahead to turn it again to the right side. Can you see? Just making sure that everything aligns before I place this. So you're going to fold it this way. Can you see? To cover up this other opening here, just to make sure that it aligns with the curve you have around this other side. Can you see? And then turn it over to the right side. Can you see what I'm doing? So this here is the pocket area. I just hope you understand what I'm doing. Can you see? So I'll just open it up again so that you understand. See it here? You open it like this, cover it this way. Cover it this way. Make sure you have like about 3 inches outside. Can you see? Just about 3 inches outside. And then I'll just pin this down. I'll hold this down and then hold this other part here down. So I'll go over to my sewing machine and then stitch these pocket areas that are open, just these areas here, just the cuff part like this. Just stitch down that part, and then for this other side as well, I'll just stitch down this other side here. So when I'm done, I'll show you what I have. So guys, I'm done stitching this part down. I'll just put my hands here so that you see. So this here is the pocket area. Can you see? So this is how it's supposed to be. This here is the pocket area. So this is it. I went ahead to stitch down this part. So this is how it's looking, everything looking very nice. Make sure that while you are stitching, you are ironing this out. So here is the back part here. I also went ahead to stitch down this crotch area here and also stitch down the darts just like we did for the front piece. Okay, so I'm going to place this like this. I'll just open it up this way so that you see the areas I stitched down. So here is the crotch area. So right now I'll place them right side facing each other. Please, just in case you don't understand, just refer back to me and then pick these crotch areas here. Make sure they are aligned, like make sure that when you are placing this, they are all equal. So place each area, most especially these crotch areas here, place it right side facing each other, and then I'll go ahead and just pin this down. Can you see what I'm doing? And I'll also come over to this other side as well and pin this down. This is like the second video or third video I'm having on my channel on how to do this, so you can refer back to other videos so that you also see how to go about this. So right now I'll go over to my machine and stitch this down through these areas here, stitch down till it gets to this other side here. So by the time I'm done, I will show you guys what I have. Okay, so this here you stitch down to this point. So guys, I'm done stitching this down. This is the areas I stitch, and I stitched this down with about 1/2 inch. Can you see? So right now we need to work on the side. So go over to your sewing machine and close up this side with about 1 inch. So I'll close up this side with 1 inch and show you guys later. Okay, so I'm done closing up this side. Can you see how it looks? This is it. These are the areas that I stitched down with 1 inch. So this is how everything came out. So right now we are going to be working on our waistband. Okay, so this is the waistband here. This is the fabric I went ahead to cut, and then it's about 2 inches on fold. Remember when we were drafting this, I told you guys to leave about 1.5 inch at the top of your paper for your waistband. So I went ahead to cut this out with 2 inches on fold. So when you open it up, you have 4 inches. So 2 inches on fold, so that you have like 1/2 inch for your stitching allowance. So I went ahead to iron interfacing on it. So this is head stay. This is head stay, just to give it more strength. Just in case you don't know what head stay is, just go to the market and ask for head stay, where they sell all these fashion things, okay, fashion materials and all that. So right now I'll just zip this part down, open it up this way, sorry, and then I'm going to place this my waistband on it like this, leaving about 1 inch at the top. So right now the length for this waistband is my round waist. I cut this out using my round waist. So I also went ahead to add extra 2 inches to it, so that by the time we are done, we'll be able to turn this over. You understand that on the video here. So I'll be leaving about 1 inch at the top here before I start pinning this down. So I'll continue pinning this down until it gets to the other end. So I left about 1 inch here, and then I'll continue pinning this. Make sure you're pinning this with the pockets you have inside, like the top of your pocket area. Can you see what I'm doing? Please, you can see that, you can understand this better with the way I'm using my hands. So I'll continue pinning this, pin this down, and then I'll go over to my sewing machine and stitch this down with 1/2 inch. Okay, so go ahead and just pin this down till you get to the other point. Okay, so guys, I'm done stitching this down with 1/2 inch. Can you see? So I also went ahead to just fold this in and then stitch this down like this. I'll just go ahead and cut off that excess. You need to cut it off so that by the time you fold it in like this, everything is just going to be in place. Can you see what I'm doing? Just fold it in this way and then use your scissors to bring this out. If you don't understand what I did here, please refer back to me. So I'll keep folding it this way. Can you see? Can you see what I'm doing? Remember that this I cut out this my waistband with 2 inches on fold. So by the time you open it up, it's going to be 4 inches. So I also went ahead to just stitch down that areas. So you just turn everything down like this, and then use your scissors to just push this out. Can you see? So by the time you are done, you go to your sewing machine and then fold in half inch. Fold in half inch and then use it to close up the rough areas here. Just look at what I'm doing. You are going to fold in half inch this way. Push those rough edges inside. Push them inside like this. Can you see? Then fold in half inch and use it to cover it up this way. Then you go to your sewing machine and stitch on it. Please, when you are stitching this, make sure you are stitching this. You start your stitches from the front part, not from inside. Don't stitch from inside, just do it from the front part, okay? So I'm done stitching this, and this is how it looks. Can you see how beautiful this came out? Please, if you don't understand what I'm doing, just refer back to me, because I feel like I was too fast. So just go ahead and then do this. Make sure that yours is looking very beautiful like this. So I'll just use a button to just hold our areas here. For the ends of my trouser, I also went ahead to fold this in. Like I told you guys, I was going to be folding this part, okay? So this is it for the trouser after I was done making this, and it really came out so good, okay? It was really beautiful and I really loved it. This is how beautiful this is looking. Please, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit on the subscribe button. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Everything looking very nice and clean. So thank you for watching this video. Please go ahead and hit on the subscribe button. Please share this video. Make sure you share this video to someone out there who is in need of this. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing this video. This is what I had, and I was so in love with this trouser. I can't wait to just rock this on to church. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now, okay?